What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. So I am here with a very special guest, Kimberly Menzies. She is the very first person that I am interviewing on my new interview series with all of the people that I've been talking about all this time on my podcast. We are now starting an interview series, and I decided that Kimberly Menzies would be my first guest. Thank you so much for joining me, Kim. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. I feel so special. I'm your first one. It makes me feel so special.
I wouldn't have had it any other way. You were my first choice for the
Oh,
first person. So I'm
thank
super glad you were able to join us. So I want to talk to you about you because we've been watching you on the show, and in these 15-minute increments, I felt like we don't really get to know you. We've gotten to know your relationship. We've gotten to know things about your relationship. We haven't gotten to know you. So what's your favorite color? And I kind of have an idea. I might know the answer.
It's so funny because we're both wearing blue today. Hey, look at us go. My favorite color, I have two actually, and I never can pick which one, is like pink, like a rose gold pink, and emerald green. I love emerald green. It's my favorite color.
So I heard that you have cats, and I
Yeah,
want to talk about the cats because I love cats. So
yeah.
how many cats do you have, and what are their names?
Okay, so I have Cherry, which was my mother's cat, my late mother's cat, and she's like my baby now. I have Cherry, I have my black cat, Puffy, who is like my baby, and then I have my little girl, Princess. And then I also have a feral cat outside because when my mom was here living, she would feed all these feral cats, and I have one left, and his name's Mickey, and he looks just like Sylvester the cat. So that's all.
Oh, I love it. All right, so what are your hobbies? And so what are your hobbies now? And I also want to know what are some of your previous hobbies? Because as we get older and we change and we progress, we stop doing things we used to do. So what are some of the things you did, and now what are some things you do now?
Well, I used to when I was younger, before my hip got so bad, I used to run a lot or just like walk a lot, and I would run like 2, 3 miles. And now it's just like, oh, never mind and everything. But I used to read a lot. I used to read all the time. And I really want to get that back because I used to read like the back of cereal boxes. That's just what I did. And I really want to get back into that habit because it's such a good escape. And then now I love to like go to SeaWorld. I love walking the beaches here. I love Ocean Beach Pier and like Sunset Cliffs and going to see the seals in La Jolla. So you have to come out. You and Heather have to come out so I can show you the sights.
I would love to, and I definitely need to walk. And I don't even know if I can run, but I need to exercise. So I love the idea of that. Right now in music, what is your favorite song right now? And it can't be any song by Soulja Boy. It has to be something else. So what do you have on in your car and you're driving and you find yourself singing really loud?
Okay, Drake and 21 Savage, Rich Flex. I love that song. I love Migos, and I love everything. But we all know I love Soulja Boy's music. But I don't listen to it every day. I don't watch his videos every day. I'm not crazy.
Of watching videos every day, I know you watch Michael Jackson videos every day. So, what is your favorite all-time song and then favorite all-time video? Because his videos are literally cinema quality videos. So, what is your favorite song and then what's the favorite video if it's different?
Okay, so my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time is "You Are Not Alone." That's my favorite song. I think his voice was just magical on that. And of course, my favorite video, I actually have a lot. So Thriller. Nothing can beat Thriller. And Remember the Time. I think we're just classics, and it was just so Michael.
That's funny. You Are Not Alone is my favorite song by Michael
Yeah.
ever. I really love the way you make me feel, the video.
The way
So,
you feel you don't want me to sing. Okay, but no, I
that is
know.
like my favorite.
Yeah, the video is really good too. All of his videos were like mini movies, like Smooth
Yeah.
Criminal and everything.
It's
But
hard to pick a favorite. They're so good.
yeah, You Are Not Alone. The music was so good. I mean, his voice was so good. And You Are Not Alone. It's my favorite. It gives me chills every time I listen to it.
So what kind of car do you drive? And I want to know, are you a car person? So like we're gonna go, what kind of car do you drive? And then what is your dream car? Like if you had $1 billion and it wasn't an option for money, what would you be driving right now?
So I drive a 2015 Mazda 3. I love my car. It was my dream car when I moved to California. And I just Googled like this is what I want, and that's what I got. And my dream car, honestly, is a Range Rover. I love Range Rovers. I love them. I want it like a cranberry red Range Rover. So
That is actually also my dream car. Range Rovers are literally the car that I'm striving to own. I want one so bad.
It's so weird because we always say we're so much alike. It's so crazy, huh?
I feel like you're stealing my answers for some of these
I'm
questions.
not.
All right. We're going to come back with segment 2, and we're going to have some more serious questions, less lighthearted, and more getting to know you and your career and things that make you who you are today as a person. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll be back with segment 2 with Kimberly Menzies here on the George Mossey podcast. This George Mossey podcast interview with Kimberly Menzies is brought to you by Super Blossom by Kimberly, a body spray for the modern woman. Whether you are working or traveling 25 hours to see your international superstar boyfriend, Super Blossom is all you need to stay fresh and vibrant. Get your bottle of Super Blossom at beautykitchen.net today.
Yay, it's beautiful. Go get yours.
All right, so we're back. I want to talk about the time that you spent in the military because you have been stationed in places across the globe. And I just want to talk about what job you had assigned in the military and what is one of the favorite places around the world that you were able to go that you have fond memories of. Like if money wasn't an option, you might actually live there.
I went in the military when I was 19, and I went to basic training and my advanced training at Fort Jackson in South Carolina. Then I went to airborne school at Fort Benning, and then I was stationed at Fort Bragg. And I was stationed at Fort Bragg for maybe about 3 months before and then I got sent to Operation Desert Storm. And I was over there, and then I came back and I was at Fort Bragg. And that was really the only time I went overseas was during Desert Storm. And I was the secretary, I was admin, and it's crazy. Little side note, because I see comments saying, "Oh, she was just a secretary." Okay, yeah, I was just a secretary serving my country overseas in a war. So let's not forget that part, okay?
Every
And
position in our army is important because the army is a team of one. Every job is important and it all is there to help keep us safe, guys. So it doesn't really matter what anyone does. They're all working together for the greater common good.
I always thought that was a real messed up comment. Like I'm very proud that I'm a veteran. I'm very proud. And for people that don't believe me, I have my DD 214. I can show you I was in the military. Um, I feel like, and I was an admin. I worked in this place called operations. It's called S3 operations, but I worked in a signal unit, a signal brigade. And they installed like all of the communication for everybody in Desert Storm, basically. And then I was their secretary. Then when I got back, I went to this 327 Signal Battalion, like 2 years after I got back. I was stationed at Fort Bragg the whole time. And then I would go to like Fort Campbell, Kentucky. We would have missions, and I would go there. And then the military, I will always say, was one of the best experiences in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I feel like the military really kind of, it makes you a survivor. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I get up early. I'm always on time. It's taught me a lot. My favorite place that I went to was when we went to Saudi Arabia. We stayed in Belgium for like 22 hours, Brussels, Belgium, and it was beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful, yeah. And then Germany, I discovered beer machines on the way back, and I was like, oh, hey, excited. 21. So, yeah, it was cool. It was an experience. I feel I'm very, very proud to be a veteran. I'm very proud to have served my country. I got out when Jamal was, I think, almost a year, because they wanted to send me somewhere that I couldn't bring him. It was called a hardship tour. And I just didn't want to leave Jamal. And I was doing really well, but I had to go. I had to be there for my baby. And I know now, because I would have been gone for 2 years unaccompanied tour and only coming home for 30 days out of that year. So I would have been, or 60 days, you know what I mean, out of the 2 years. So I would have missed everything. And the day I got out, he walked for the first time. So I believe that, that was a lesson for me. So
You made the right choice.
I did. I did.
So speaking of your military life, what was the transition like going from military life to civilian life? Because a lot of people say that they struggle with that, going from living in the military and waking up every day at the same time and having that routine to just going into a normal everyday civilian life. How was that transition for you?
It was weird because, yeah, I had to get up so early and take like Jamal to daycare, and then we would go run 2 or 3 miles, and do physical training and all that. And then you start your day, and then you get off at 5. So for me, it's like the getting up early thing. Like when people say you can sleep in, I'm like, what's that? What is sleeping in? And then just the order of things, like you miss that. And I'm pretty organized, but you missed that. And then like I still have some of the military training in me. Usman says it a lot. He always says, "You're so strong all the time," like the way I walk and the way, you know, the way just like my mind thinks about things sometimes. I don't think you really lose it. I think I've like inherited more and I've instilled more in myself. But like I'm nothing like I used to be. Like I used to be this little soldier and shooting my M16 and all that. And then like even Jamal will see things of me back then and he's like, "Mom, that wasn't you." And he's like, "Get out of here." I know that was your mama. So I think the organizational skills and like waking up early. I've just never been one to sleep in. I'll go and take a long nap. You know me, George. I take naps, but but it's really hard for me to just like sleep past like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love sleeping in. So
I
I
know.
definitely want to talk about you switching careers because
Mhm.
at this point in your life, it's kind of chaotic. Like you kind of were catapulted into this new world of social media because I heard that before the show, you didn't even have an Instagram. So you have this Instagram, you have all the social media, and you're being talked about all over the world in different countries,
Yeah.
everywhere. People know you. There are memes in other languages of you. So how did you juggle switching careers, doing the show, your relationship with Jamal? How did that all come into play in your life?
Well, it hasn't been easy. I will say that. I'm very, very grateful. I feel like I'm very blessed to have like everything, all the opportunities that I have now. But like I was a restaurant manager and I switched jobs and went to a spa now. I work at Konakai Resort and Spa as a spa coordinator. And it's been a transition like with the show. Like I was always really, really private. And the only reason I had an Instagram was because Usman would say, "Hey, I'm going to go do a live." I'm like, "What's that?" And then so I got an Instagram. And then like to watch it blow up from 150 followers to now almost at 200,000, it's a lot. And it's changed my life a lot. It's changed my relationship with Usman because sometimes you think the relationship, you see things back and I'm like, "I didn't know you said that about me." And then you get mad all over again. And it's a lot because my whole being is in the public eye now. And I'm very grateful. Please don't take that wrong. I'm very grateful to my lovely followers and everything. And I'm really blessed. And I thank Usman every day for this opportunity that he gave me, and to be on this platform. And with Jamal too. There was a time where Jamal would block me off all his social media going, "You don't even see what I'm doing." Now he's like, "Mom, can you post this for me? Can you do this? So it's just like it's a different chain of events. And with my mom passing in January, it really just brought things to home for me. Like I really do need to live each day as its fullest. That's what my mother would have wanted for me.
I'm glad that this has had a positive impact on your life because a lot of times all of this attention and all of these changes can have a negative effect or a mental health effect. And I love that it's brought you and Jamal closer and it's got you
Yeah.
a new career and you're able to experience different things in your life.
Yeah. But sometimes, I have my days. I have my days, George. You know that. I have my days. I'll call you and be like, "George, why are you saying this about me?" But I just feel like I'm always going to be Kim. I'm always going to be who I am. And you either love me or hate me. And that's just the way it goes now.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. So, this podcast interview with Kimberly Menzies is brought to you in part by Super Blossom, a Super Blossom body spray with a modern woman in mind. Whether you are working or on a flight for 25 hours to see your international superstar boyfriend, Super
Yes.
Blossom is definitely all you need to stay fresh and vibrant. Make sure you pick up your bottle of Super Blossom at beautykitchen.net today. All right, so speaking of social media, how do you deal with the trolls and the haters? Because they have taken a strong obsession with you. Like you were introduced onto the show, and this is the spinoff that you're on, and you have kind of been catapulted into this level of fame that some people had to go on 2 or 3 different spinoffs to get, and you were just right along with them. So how do you deal with the memes and the reels and all of this craziness when you're just trying to be out there and live your life?
I mean, I went on the show for love. So, and to be honest, I really didn't expect it to be like this big. I didn't realize I have a lot of love and I'm very appreciative of all the love that I get. But like, I was not prepared for all these trolls and all this hate and all this stuff that I get. Like, I get I've seen some really disgusting things. People saying I have an alleged black sexual fetish, or I because of some things that happened in my past that like I'm this horrible horrible person, or people will try to investigate my whole life. And there's certain things I just didn't want on the show, you know? And I'm growing up to own my mistakes and own, and you see, I apologize for almost every time I mess up on the show. I think that, you know, the memes are really funny. I have to say, Mary Pants is my girl. I love her. She just gets my memes, you know. She just gets me, I think, and I love her. And for the ones that are making reels and, you know, slandering my name out there, because that's what they're doing. Essentially, that's what they're doing, or slandering my reputation, or trying to slander my reputation. I'm always going to be Kim. I'm always going to do what I want. Let them make their money. Maybe that's how they pay their rent. I don't know, but you know, I know that I went on the show for the right intentions. I went on the show for love. You know, am I going to try to, you know, use my platform to make money? Hell yeah. Then people get on Usman all the time too. Like, oh, you know, he releases a song every time. Who cares? That's what we're here for. You know,
Exactly. He was a rapper first. You know, he was an artist first before he
he was
went on the show, so it would make sense.
exactly. And I feel like, you know, people just misjudge our whole relationship. And that's fine. That's fine. You know, we put ourselves out there, we're open for the public. But some of this ridicule I get, people tend to forget that, you know, I do have a child. I do, even though Jamal's 27, he's my son. And some of these comments really hurt him too. And just because I'm in the social media, it doesn't mean you can DM me and be like, you're ugly and I'm desperate and I'm this and I'm that and I'm fat and I'm, you know, I have buck teeth or I look like Herman Munster. You know, that everybody is just, this is how women get body dysmorphia. It's because they see the stuff and they change everything about that, about themselves. And I'm not going to do that. And I know I need some work. Like I told you the other day, I'm a work in progress, you know, like, but I can't, some of these comments, like the black fetish thing, my mom didn't raise me to hate any race or to be anything. You know, she said to love who you love. And I think love is love. And that's what's important here.
So that brings me into my next question. So out of all of these terrible things, I'm sorry, by the way, that you have to even read any of these things, but out of these things that you've read, what is the one misconception that is just so far off from who you are as a person that you just need to clear it up right now? You just need to make sure that people don't assume that that is any truth to it whatsoever.
I don't need, I really think the biggest thing is that I'm Usman's sugar mama. Like that really irritates me because he doesn't need me for anything. And I get so tired of explaining this to people that like he is financially, he does well for himself. I don't need to send him money. I don't have money to send him. I am, you know, I'm still working. I'm still doing my own thing, you know? And I think that really disgusts me when people are like, oh, he's a scammer or he's scamming her for a green card or whatever. And then this whole sexual black fetish thing. First of all, that's disgusting to say, disgusting to say. And I feel like, people that know me, people that don't. And that's how I feel now. But that is the biggest misconception, is that I'm just like over here with millions and I'm just like, here you go, Usman. Here you go. Here you go. Dance for me. Give me some yummy.
Oh
Crazy.
my gosh. What is your favorite moment? So we watched you meet Usman for the first time in Zanzibar, and then you've been back subsequently many times. What is one of your favorite moments when you actually got to meet him face to face? Because a lot of your relationship is through FaceTime calls and phone calls and text. So what is one of your favorite moments that you will always cherish and look back on?
There's so many because I've been to Nigeria quite a few times. So there's many. I would say the moment I met him in Zanzibar will always stick out in my mind because I was so nervous. And everybody's like, oh, she's a super fan. Yes, I was a fan. I was a super fan. I admit it. I have body spray with Super Blossom on it because super fan, you know? But I embrace it. I was so nervous when you're talking to somebody for a year and some change, and then you go and meet this person, you know? And I was already in love. You know, we all know how Usman was not, but um but
Potentially in love.
I was the potential. But I really felt like that one moment, I would just I think about it now and it still makes me smile after 2 years. You know, it's just like
Aww.
it was so cute, you know, it was so real. It was such a real moment.
So I want to stick on the cute, real moment. So when you saw Usman on one knee
Ah,
with a ring on his hand, what was the first thing that went through your mind? Because I think that's what we were all wondering because you were super shocked. So
ah.
what were you thinking right in that moment?
I was like, did you fall off the table? Because you know he was standing on this nightstand, right? Like hammering stuff. And my first thought, that was the first thing that came through my head was, did you fall? And then I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? When I saw him after that part went out of my head, it was like the whole relationship just flashed in front of my eyes, like how we met, how we met in Zanzibar, all the drama that we went through, the couple times I've been. And then I was just like, oh my God, like this is a real thing. Like I fought for him. I fought for him at every turn. And I've supported him at every turn, and it was just like I love him.
It was kind of that moment of accomplishment. You set out to do something, you wanted that blessing, and you got the man that you wanted, and everyone was doubting it. And I felt like that had to be going through your mind, like, I did it. I made it happen.
I did. And Usman and I joke and we'll be like, hashtag I won. And Usman says it all the time, And it's a running joke with him and I. People just take everything so serious all the time. But I really felt like I don't really feel like I won. I felt like I just put myself out there and I went for what I wanted, and I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I don't feel like I hurt anybody in the process. I don't feel like, like just did Jamal have concerns? Did my mom, did his family? Of course. But at the end of the day, everybody could see that love there. His family could see it. And let me address that really fast. I've
Okay.
seen comments where people are like, his family was disrespectful to me, or they were mean to me. Absolutely fucking not. Was not one person in that house mean to me. Not once. They were so respectful of me. They were leery. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them whatsoever. I would have been the same way if it was Jamal. I'd been like, hold on, like his friends and everything. When I went privately, his friends and everything, like, wow, this is so weird because like it's just we just have this connection, and I can't explain it. He can't explain it, but it's not up to explain. You know what I'm saying?
We aren't supposed to understand the love between two people when we weren't there when they fell in love. So we were
Right.
never meant to understand the connection that you two have. And the 15-minute increments that we get each week can never fully explain all of the things that you guys have been through together.
And I say that all the time because what really did it was after Zanzibar when I went privately for 3 weeks. And that's what really did it. Like we would stay up till 5, 6 in the morning just talking without no TV on, no phones, just Kim. And that is my favorite time, is when it's just Kim and Usman time. And that's when we really knew it was like really, really, it was just odd. Like we got along so well. There was no nervousness, no hesitation. It was just Kim and Usman.
And that's what we love to see. We love to see the actual love and connection. So there's been this photo floating around the internet, and it's of you with blonde hair, which is a completely photoshopped photo. And I know you've already said that you'll never dye your hair blonde, but I do want to talk about what you've done to your hair now because I actually love it. It looks amazing.
So much. So I read the comments. I see things, and I see how harsh the black look. You know what I mean? And you don't see it unless you see yourself all the time, which I've never been one to just take a whole bunch of pictures of myself and all that. So when I was watching it back on TV, I was like, damn, it did and that stupid half ponytail. I will never wear that half ponytail again a day in my life. So this lady, her name's Danielle Millies, she just reached out to me and she was like, let's do something with your hair. She was very nice about it. I had done a lot of damage to my hair, with dyeing it so much and cutting it myself and all that. And I just love it. She just darkened it and added blonde highlights, and I'm going to add more. But I will never, ever go blonde. That is not my thing. I'm not going to cut my hair any shorter. I might cut some bangs maybe later on, but I will never, ever go all the way blonde. That picture, I saw, I look like a Karen in that picture. I can't. I just cannot with that picture.
Guys, that's on the record. She's never going blonde. Don't DM her. If you're a hairdresser, she's not going to do it. Don't waste your time. And I love the way your hair looks now. I think it looks great.
Thank you so much. I love it. I love the length and everything.
So of all the 90-day people, who's your favorite couple? I know this is super hard. Or who's your legendary couple? Like for me, watching it back in the day, it was Danielle and Muhammad and Nicole and Addison and David and Annie. So like, who was it for you that got you hooked into the franchise?
Well, I never watched it until Usman's past season. So
really,
yeah, I never watched it. That's how we met, because I never watched it. And then I started watching back when I became on it. And I love two couples. It would have to be John and Rachel Waters. I love them. I love them. I love them. And Ari and Benny. I love Ari and Benny. I love their family dynamic. I love the way she's so supportive of Benny. And I love Benny is just such a great guy to me. And I have so much respect. Like he's fighting, he's doing his thing. And and Ari's just, I just love them. And Ari was the first one when the trailer was announced for me to be on B90. She messaged me on Instagram. She's like, if you need anything, let me know. And I just don't forget stuff like that.
See, I love to hear that. And I love that she was the first one to reach out because I feel like Ari sometimes gets a bad rep, but she is such a nice person. And guys, she's watching her fiance go out and fight in a cage night after night. That's not easy to do. And
No,
she's supporting him and she's there at the fights. And that's not easy to do. So, Ari, I hope that everyone understands what you are going through for Benny to follow his dreams. I really love that. And Rachel, I really want to see them together. I
yeah,
really do. I hate seeing them apart. They have such a beautiful family, and I want to see them together. I really hate the idea that two people can love each other and the laws can somehow keep them from being together.
right. I know. And I don't know. That part's all crazy. We have, we found out some things, with this attorney and everything that, about the K1 and all that. But like, it's crazy. But I just love them. I love whenever I see them, like whenever I see their pictures, it just makes my heart happy. And I think that I did a live with Jamal and Usman one day, and Benny popped on, and I was like so starstruck. I'm like, "Hi, Benny. Hey, how are you?" I just love him.
He's
So
amazing. He has so many talents. I wish I
yeah,
had that many talents. I want to thank you for sitting down with me and letting me talk to you and let everyone get to know you on a personal basis because I
thank
feel like
you.
I've gotten to do that. Everyone else deserves to do that because they only know what they want to know or what they've heard. And I really want to thank you for just opening up and being honest and talking and telling everybody what it is that makes Kimberly Kimberly.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you because let me tell you, you have been a constant source of support for me. And you have just been, you're fair. You're not judgmental, but you tell me like it is too. And I appreciate our friendship that we have. And I just appreciate you and Heather as people. And I can't wait for you to come to San Diego. But
I
I
can't
just,
wait too.
I know, I really think that people really need to like understand like how close you and I really are. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that we're cool, and I love the fact that we can talk, and I can call you if I'm upset. And Heather too. You guys have just been Team Kim and Usman, and I really appreciate that. But you give it to me straight when I need it. You don't take no shit from me either.
I
Oh
call it like I see it, but I do like to treat people the way I want to be treated.
yeah,
And I feel like a lot of other bloggers should follow suit. Treat people like you want to be treated. Just because they're on TV doesn't make them any less human.
okay. And one more. Can I add a little public service announcement,
Of
please?
course.
Okay, so I wear my ring, guys. I do wear my engagement ring. It's beautiful. Usman did an amazing job picking it out. If you see me outside in public and I don't have it on, it's because sometimes I forget. Okay, I don't wear it to bed because it gets caught in my hair, but I do wear my ring. Okay, so I'll make sure that I wear it going forward because all I hear is about why doesn't Kim wear a ring? So whatever.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up. But look, I'm wearing mine now, but there are days that I don't wear it. And there are actually sometimes where I can't find it. So, guys, these things do happen. Just because it's not on does not mean it. There's nothing to read
Oh no,
into.
oh
It
no.
just might be at home.
Yeah, it is. But thank you so much. And thank you for just being there for us, and Jamal too. Jamal, you know how Jamal feels about y'all. We really appreciate like all the support that we get from all my followers and everything. I'm actually probably gonna do a live after this just to say, hey.
Guys, make sure you're ready. And you're welcome. And I'm glad that I can do this with you. And guys, this is the first interview of my interview series. There'll be many more. I'm so glad that my first one was Kimberly Menzies, one of my favorites on the show. All right,
Yeah.
guys, I'm George Mossey. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates. We'll talk to all of you guys really soon.